Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 359. It's actually Christmas today, or was Christmas. Here it is in the evening though, and I hope for all of you that celebrate Christmas, it was a good one, and that the true meaning of what Christmas is supposed to be about lives and is enlivened in your heart. What would that true meaning of Christmas be anyway? Perhaps it would be knowing that the most beautiful thing we can do is to experience love. Probably not from somebody, but within ourselves and toward someone or something. Much better to love than to be loved, in my opinion. No better feeling, is there? Okay. Enzo. He's shot that spear into the whale's head, and as he does, the bull sperm whale that was heading straight for the boat that he was in the prow of. As the whale come toward him, had called out, never, never to kill again. Enzo had squeezed the trigger, not even wanting to. He was so overtaken by something. As he did, he also slipped and fell, and then didn't remember anything except being a whale. His awareness had completely shifted. He experienced diving down into the depths of the ocean, and this joyous experience. He felt immensely powerful. He felt the water against his skin. He saw through his mind as echoes from the sounds that he made came back to him. He determined that there was a squid ahead of him, and he was drawn directly toward it. Mouth opened, he catches the squid and then heads to the surface with it. And by the time he gets to the surface, the squid, unable to endure the lack of pressure in those upper levels of the ocean, dies before it reaches the surface. If you know anything about pressure, every 33 feet of water, you gain 1 atmosphere of pressure. 1 atmosphere of pressure is how much pressure you feel around your body when you're standing at sea level. All of that air that is above you, all of the atmosphere has a weight. It's something like 14.6. 14.6 something pounds per square inch or something like that. And I think that might be it. We feel against our skin. Every time you go 33 feet into the ocean, you increase that pressure by 1 atmosphere. 66 feet, you're basically feeling 2 atmospheres, or a total of 3, including the atmosphere at sea level, and so on. But the truth is, as you dive into the ocean, you actually don't feel it on you, but where you do feel it is in your lungs. And as Enzo dove down in that whale body, his lungs collapsed. The air that was in his lungs Well, it collapsed until there was almost nothing in Enzo's lungs. Every air bubble in his bloodstream became smaller and smaller and smaller as he dove deeper and deeper. And Enzo dove too, almost or more than a mile before he reached the bottom. Now, once he was at the surface with the squid that was dead, all the other whales came and they ate the tentacles of this giant squid, feasting, gulping down big chunks of this whale's tentacles. And then they languished in the ocean, close to each other, enjoying feeling fed, but also enjoying each other's company, talking to each other as they, well, bobbed in the ocean. And as they did, Enzo heard a noise. It was like a banging noise. It was familiar, though. As he heard it, he realized that there was a boat approaching. But it was not just any boat, it was his boat. It was the boat that he worked on. And here it was coming toward them, and there was a panic, a fright that went through the entire pod as this boat approached. And they all began to swim away from it, but the boat began to gain on them little by little. The whales could not keep ahead of it. And though they would dive down and try to evade the boat by staying underwater for some time, eventually they had to come back up, and the boat would alter course in order to stay with them. On and on the boat came. As fast as they could, the whales tried to get away, but the boat was faster. Suddenly there was a loud boom, and one of the mother whales, one of the cow whales, was hit with a harpoon. And a moment later, there was an explosion and blood filled the ocean. The whale had died. On the boat came. And there was a second explosion, and suddenly one of the adolescent whales was thrashing in the ocean before another boom killed that young whale. And again, the ocean was filled with blood. And Enzo, feeling protective and loving all of the creatures in his pod, turned and faced the oncoming boat, swam toward it, calling out over and over again, "Do not kill. Never kill again. Do not kill. Please do not kill." As Enzo is swimming through the water, saying this over and over again, there's another blast, and Enzo feels this sharp pain in his own head, and yet he continues to swim directly at the boat. And he continues to call out, "Do not kill. Never." As he's continuing to speak this out, there's an explosion in his head. Everything goes dark. Well, Enzo awakened. And when he did, he found himself laying in his bunk aboard his boat, the boat that he worked upon. That was very strange, but as a whale, as he had been swimming toward the boat, He saw the men's faces and he knew those men. As a whale, he knew those men were the men that he worked with. And as he's remembering this dream that he'd had, or whatever it was, he couldn't believe it. He put his hands in front of his face and couldn't believe that he had hands, because before, all he had was flukes. He wondered what had happened. He felt his body was both chilled and hot at the same time, and he was sweaty, cold, wet sweat. He got up out of his bunk and went over to the mirror and peered into his own face. Almost did not recognize it. And we'll leave Enzo there standing in front of the mirror, wondering what has happened, remembering the words of the whale, never kill again.